So many of us are working. We have kids, we're caregivers, we're on the go, but we also know the benefits of meditation. There's so many benefits. So how can you begin a meditation practice and have this busy life? And so today we're going to share with you some practical tips that you can do any day, and you can start today to build your own meditation practice. And before we begin, we're going to just come into this space because you may be doing something right now. You may be in the middle of something or hurrying along. And I know in the midst of life, sometimes it's hard to just step away or focus in and listen. I will listen to something and not really hear it. So we're going to come into this space with a brief meditation. So if it's available to you, just become comfortable. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze unless you're driving. Keep your eyes on the road. And just take a breath. Just inhale and exhale. Inhale again through the nose. Exhale. Slowing it down. This time, just allow your exhale to be a little bit longer than your inhale. One more inhale. And exhale. We are surrounded by a bubble of white light. God's loving light, universe loving light, this peaceful loving light. We are more than our bodies. We are beings of love, and we are beings of light. We come into this space to discover and to learn and to grow and to share. And we are thankful for this present moment, right here, right now. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Take a breath.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about different ways to bring meditation into your everyday life. So I'm going to talk about everyday mindfulness and how we can bring our normal everyday activities into a meditative state. And there's a few different things that we can do every day. There are things you're already doing, and you just add a touch of mindfulness to it to bring that meditative state in. So one of them I used to do while I was driving. I don't drive as much anymore, but when I was driving, I would turn off the radio and just drive and in silence. And that was my quiet time, my meditative time. So during that time, let your thoughts go, sit there in silence and enjoy that time that you have with just yourself. If you have kids with you, it's not going to work as well. But if you're by yourself, use that time for yourself. Sometimes people jam out to music during their drives by themselves. I do sometimes too. And sometimes I turn it off and that's my quiet time. Sometimes that's the only quiet time I get, especially as moms. And when we work full time and more, you don't get a lot of quiet time. So that can be your quiet time for you to enjoy that meditative state. Keep your eyes on the road. Don't do actual meditation while you're driving, but be mindful. Think about what's going on in your mind. Think about something specific that you want to focus on and use that drive time for that thought process. And when other things come into your mind, like the grocery shopping, oh, I've got to go get this, just acknowledge that thought and move on. The other thing we can do every day is when we're eating, instead of eating at our desks or eating while we're watching TV, we can turn everything off and we can sit and eat our food without any noise, without talking, without our phones in front of our faces, and be mindful of that meal. Be mindful of the food you're eating and enjoy the food in that moment. And that's a very good thing. And that's also very good for our health and our digestion because we're focusing on that food. We're focusing on being thankful for the meal that we're having in front of us. We're thankful for the different flavors and the different tastes that you have. And the other thing you can do is, whether you have 5, 10, 15 minutes or longer, go outside. Go outside in your own time quietly and sit and focus on what's around you. What are 5 things you can see? 4 things you can hear? 3 things you can smell? And then something you can touch. And that will just bring you to a state of presence that in today's society we don't get much of. Most of us are on autopilot. We just go, 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 go. So if we're not being mindful, we are on autopilot. So this is a way that we can stop that autopilot, even if it's only 5 to 10 minutes, and just take that break that we need for ourselves. And we don't have to do an hour-long meditation. We don't have to spend an enormous, I can't talk, an enormous, a large amount of time. Let's just say that. Just a lot of time to do meditation. We don't need to listen to a meditation on our phones. We can just spend time in quiet with ourselves. And sometimes that's harder to do than listening to a guided meditation, because sometimes we don't want to hear what ourselves have to say. We don't want to hear what our higher self has to say. So sometimes that's a little bit more difficult, but it's so important for us to do, to be able to actually hear that guidance from inside ourselves. Shannon's going to talk a little bit about her daily meditation practice and the importance of that practice and that mindfulness.
So y'all have seen me do like my 1 through 10 standing meditation a lot. And you've seen it. But Michelle reminded me today that I need to tell people why. So I do that to ground, cleanse, and protect every day. It's a quick practice that you can take through guided visualization, where you mindfully center your body, ground into and connect with the earth's energy, go through the process of cleansing out any negative energy, any bad feelings, just cleansing the body visually through like standing meditation, visually cleanse that energy out. Anything that pops into mind when you're doing that, just consciously cleanse it, and then bringing in that heavenly energy to give you increase the energy in your body, to build up your chi, to get you out of whatever you're doing or that you're stuck in, and then bring you into the present space with the purpose and the intention of letting things go and bringing in healing energy and protecting, creating that protective white light around your body, creating that bubble of chi to help you manage through the day without all of this stuff that comes at us. Like we're ping, 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 ping throughout the day. It's like the phone's ringing, something alerts on our phone. We're at work and people come in and they're like, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that. And then we get phone calls and we get emails, and then there's the kids and the family and all of the things. And sometimes it's just so helpful to take a minute, even if you go into the bathroom and just stand there and go, 1 is fun, we're going to smile. 2, shoo. 3, we're going to ground into the earth. We're going to cleanse with the earth energy. We're going to let go of that, bring in that heavenly energy, create that bubble. And we can do that 1 through 10 standing meditation in like a minute, after we've practiced it a few times. And it's 1 is fun, 2 is shoo, 3 is tree, 4 is core, the earth's core energy, 5, alive, drawing it into the body, 6, get it thick. And that pushes out all this stuff. Like when you're thick with the earth's core energy, that's the process of getting rid of all of that junk that's in there that doesn't serve us. And then 7, we bring in that heavenly earth, that heavenly energy, and we start building our energy in that positive white light and creating that bubble around us that protects us throughout the day. And it's just a few minutes of mindfulness, just a few minutes. And the more we practice it, the quicker and the easier we can do. I think somebody once says to me, she's like, GCP, which is ground, cleanse, protect. And then you can get to the point to where you can go, you don't have to go I can just do 1 through 10, GCP, ground, cleanse, protect. And it's just, then your body knows, bam, I'm back in that space of mindfulness. I've let go of all that stuff that's in there of grounded, cleanse, protect. I've created that space. And the other one I really like to do is, it's called the fire path breathing, where we visualize water coming up over our back and our heads and bringing that fire down back into our lower belly where our creative energy needs to be. But when we get frustrated through the day and we have things going on, we get in our heads and we get hot-headed, or we get a headache, we get frustrated, we get scattered because all the heat's up here instead of down in our lower internal organs where they need to be. So that's just consciously breathing and bringing that fire down and coming back into the present moment and cooling ourselves off from that hot energy that we don't need. But it's just visualizing and breath work. It's just breathing. The process of breathing air in and consciously exhaling is in itself meditation. It's just that process. So yeah, that's what I do. And that's what Qigong is. We just, it's the process of focusing on your breath and your movements, little things like Tai Chi, that fluidity of the movement, or holding a horse stance or a yoga pose or things like that. That's all meditative if you focus on what you're doing.
Being mindful.
Yep.
I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, slow and mindful, Gary, slow and mindful, because he kind of crashes through here doing all kinds of things. So, but when you practice it, it just becomes who you are, and life flows a little bit easier. So start small. That is our message today. Any of these little things that you can do today. I was thinking what Michelle was talking about in the shower. When I'm showering and I'm soaping up, I'm telling myself, I love my body. I love my strong arms. I love my strong legs. I love my hair, because I've spent a lifetime of beating myself up about my body. So that is coming into mindfulness and being meditative. And it also goes to say that yoga, kind of like Qigong, you're doing the movement. When I do yoga now, and I used to do yoga for fitness when I first started, decades ago probably. Now it's a meditative practice. And yes, folks, I did yoga with my phone propped up, watching a YouTube something, and just doing my yoga. No. Now the phone goes away and I mindfully do yoga. And the benefits of a practice is so greater. The benefits of eating, of doing Qigong, of doing yoga are so greater when you are doing it mindfully. And that's meditation. And that's another thing I didn't know. I didn't realize that all these little moments in the day can bring about peace and calm. It took a long time for me to realize that. But then when I did, I started, and I was able to build on that practice. The driving to work, saying 3 gratitudes, appreciation as I walked into work and I would see the mockingbird perched on the school. It was pretty cool. That was a meditative moment. So, mindfulness bell. I've talked about this before, but you can get an app and put on your phone and set it to go off whenever. Whenever that mindfulness bell goes off, you can just stop and, like Shannon said, breath. That's all you need. Take a breath. And maybe just give thanks for that moment. I am thankful for this moment right here, right now. You'd be surprised how that momentary getting off the fast-paced, busy, hectic, chaotic, crazy life that, we're all exposed to in our workplaces, it's like a little mini vacation. Having a piece of artwork in your workplace or in your office, or a screensaver on your phone or your computer, or look out the window and just take a breath in the midst of all that. You'll react better. You'll be able to have more clarity. And I always think of what we learned in yoga class, Michelle and I, PPAL. It's kind of a little meditation because it stops you right where you are, and you don't have something hit you and then react. Often in a way we can't take back and we can't undo. Does that ever happen to anybody? Happened to me.
Often.
But pausing, just stopping, pausing, take a breath, come into the present moment, and then ask yourself, what's really going on here? It could be I was already frustrated and somebody just pushed a trigger. That's it. They didn't intentionally do it. It could be my own programming that's causing this. And listen to yourself. What are you saying? And oftentimes pausing and breathing will just calm you down, brings you into the moment. It's mindfulness.
And the more you
I
practice
thought of
that, the better you get at
yes,
it.
that's what I was going to say. So one of the things that stops meditators, it stopped me, is meditation's overwhelming. I didn't really understand it. I thought I needed a lot of time, and I would jump into it and try to do a full seated, sit still, don't think meditation, and I failed. I thought, well, my mind's too busy. I cannot do it. I have to move. But you also wouldn't get up tomorrow morning and go run a 5K.
So I started crocheting the other day. I am not going to start a blanket. I am not going to crochet. I did a stitch this long. So meditation is kind of like the same way. We start with a stitch this long and we practice. And we start with the stitch and the chain and we practice. And then we keep practicing and eventually we'll get there. But it starts with just a couple stitches.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect. It's the same thing with the 5K. You wouldn't get up. So the same thing. I'm not going to get up tomorrow and expect to meditate all day like a monk. I am building my practice, and that's not my goal. You only need 1 minute here and there, 5, 10, 15. Studies have shown that even daily consistent, that's the key, practice of just a few minutes a day improve your overall well-being. And I would love to talk more about that because it has literally changed my life, being able to meditate, and a lot of the issues I was having just gone. So it is a powerful practice, and start small with just a minute here, a minute there. One little, what did you say, stitch, Shannon? One little stitch. It reminds me of when I was doing, anybody do that little jewel art? Well, my daughter, diamond art, she didn't get me a big one to do. No, because I wouldn't have done it because it's too much. She got me little coasters, and they're so cute, and they're right over there, and I loved it because
it was a big one.
It was small and manageable. So start small, manageable.
I've been working on mine for a year.
Yes.
Yeah. My daughter does diamond art, and I'm like, no.
Oh, it's so
That's
good.
just way too much.
It's so good.
Start with a coaster.
Yeah, you start, or just start with one color. I do one color at a time, and I fill in all of that color. And it can be meditative. You're very focused, and it helps bring your mind to one thing, because our minds are over here and over there and over there and being pulled this way. And How many times do you lose your keys? Because you come in from work or whatever, you come in and you leave your wallet in a crystal shop, or 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 a bathing suit top, or something by the river. Or these are just recent examples, and they're not mine, obviously. They're Shannon's. But I have my own. They're just not recent that I can think of right now. And Shannon's just happened. But like bringing that mindfulness when we're doing things, like, because while we're doing something, we are thinking of everything else. We come in, we get out of the car, we've got all of our bags. If you're like me and you carry a million bags to work with you, you come in and your mind's not on getting out of the car and walking into the house. You're on autopilot. So then you come in and those bags just go down. Your keys go wherever they go. And then whenever it's time to leave the house again, you're like, where are my keys? I can't find my keys. I have no idea where my keys are, because you were not being mindful in that moment. And things like that are the times where we should try to be more mindful, because those are the things that give us the biggest frustration in life, is our everyday little things. So finding the keys when it's time to go, because now my kid's going to be late for school because I cannot find my keys.
I've been there.
Or where did I put my checkbook? I know I had it last week. I don't carry it with me every day, because who uses a checkbook? Okay. But now I need it today. I have no idea where it's at. You know why? Because when I had it last week and I opened it up and I took something out, I just put it up somewhere and I was not being mindful as to where it is. I still can't find it. Okay. But those are the things that we're on autopilot, and that's a sign of being on autopilot. So like, we are not perfect. We have these too. We live in this everyday chaotic life also. And it's a practice that we're all working towards. And none of us are perfect at it or great at it even, but we're doing it, and we're working towards doing more of it.
And Sharon has this really great thing that she's doing to help all of us learn how to meditate better.
Oh, yes.
Yes, coming up to that, but I want to we're kind of wrapping things up here. Shannon mentioned being intentional too. So these moments of mindfulness, when you were saying, I am healing, and this healing energy, intention comes in and plays a big part of these mindful moments. So in these mindful moments, say an affirmation, say 2 or 3, say gratitude. So something like that intentionally. Whoa, what was that? Did y'all hear that?
Nope.
Okay, good. Something went off on my
It's the
computer.
universe talking to you.
Hello.
Nope.
That too. Like short term, you can experience some benefits. And then as you grow your practice, more and more and more. So I thought of something as we're wrapping up here. Yes, the quiet, this just come to me when you guys were talking. The quieter you become, the more you hear, the more you see, the more you feel, the more you know. But we don't practice being quiet. And by being quiet, meaning just coming into a space, maybe counting your breath, count to 10 breaths. That's it. So that's the one thing you can do today, is just start with breathing, being aware of your breath for 1 minute. Try that and see how you feel. Okay, so Shannon mentioned some things coming up. I'll attach to this video, there's a free video I'd like to share with you all about myths in meditation, some that I had, and how to overcome them. So you can watch that and maybe learn a little bit more. Maybe something that's holding you back is addressed there. And we also have available on our website, brand new, a course. It's a 7-day meditation course called Be Magic. And Be Magic is a framework that I came up with because my mind is so incredibly all over the place that I found it very hard to focus. And So I'd been meditating, but I need structure in everything I do, or I don't do the thing. So this Be Magic is a framework. And so it's 7 videos. They're about 20 to 30 minutes each. And each day is a talk and a guided meditation. And at the end of this course, anyone can take this and continue their meditation practice. So I invite you to check out the myth video that I'll link below, and also to join me for the meditation course. It's $27 for those of you in the group and watching this video today. And there's going to be a follow-up beyond that. So, because meditation is my passion, it has changed my life. I don't know. I know my daughter here. I don't know if she can tell that I've changed in my life.
Yes.
But anyway, I've come down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
It's very different.
So
Very different.
Yes, yes. And inside my head, I'm very different because I have suffered from a lot of anxiety in my life. And it is just so refreshing to know everything is well, all is well. And meditation helped get me there, but it's a practice. So thank you all for watching today. Does anyone else have any last words?
I think we're all evolving. I think that's our purpose is
Yeah.
we've come with these tools that we each have to help us evolve and get better. And I think like Michelle said, we're never going to be 100% perfect. That's not the goal. It's just to be better and have the tools to deal with things that life throws at us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And
it's a journey.
Your meditation course was amazing.
Yeah. And
thank you.
A way to look at it is, if something happens to you today, how would you have handled it a year ago? It's about growth. Not that you're going to handle it perfectly. I don't handle everything perfectly still. This is still my first time living. And so I will never handle everything perfectly. No matter what I do, it's never going to be perfect. But how would I have handled this situation a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago? And as long as there's growth from how we handle our difficult situations in life, that's the purpose. Is we're growing, we're learning. Everything that happens is a lesson. So use that to grow instead of staying stagnant where we are. So all of these practices that we use, that's what we're going for, is we're healing from everything that we've experienced in our life, negative, even positive. And we're using this to grow every day. And it's not a perfect practice. It never will be a perfect practice, but we are putting forth that effort, and we want to show you how you can do that also. So you can also look back a year from now at situations and say, I would have handled that completely different a year ago or 2 years ago.
I raise my hand to that.
Yep.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you, well, I guess tomorrow for Qigong, Sunday Qigong.
Yes.
Shannon will be
and I'll have it in the Facebook group this time instead of on our page. I hopefully will. I'm not techie. It'll be somewhere.
That whole learning and growing thing, we're all doing it.
All of us, every day.
Yeah. And coming soon, we'll be returning to live yoga once a week on Wednesday, and our Tea Talks resuming. We have a new platform that we love, so drop in the comments and let us know if you're here, if you're watching live, or if you're watching the replay. And maybe you have a mindfulness tip you'd like to share. That's the whole purpose of the community, is to learn from each other too. So until next time, many blessings, friends.
Have a good day.